This debate starts off simple, just a basic question. Rate yourself from 1 to 10. Sounds harmless, right? Yeah, not for long. Because what you're about to see isn't just about looks. It's about ego, perception, and straight-up reality checks. The panel confidently throws out ratings, 8s, 9s, even 10s. But then, boom, the host flips the script and introduces a real-world comparison. And suddenly, confidence starts colliding with logic. Are these ratings honest, or just inflated self-perception? And more importantly, do people actually know where they stand, or are they protecting their feelings? Stick around, because this turns into a brutal breakdown of...
So what do you rate your looks? Unfortunately, Stifler, when we cut the previous stream, we lost him. What do you rate your looks on a scale of 1 to 10?
Me?
Yeah, starting with you. Go ahead.
And it depends if I'm wearing a wig or not. It depends if I'm wearing a wig or not, but I'm
what?
A wig or not. This is a wig.
So you're 8 without the wig, 10 with the wig?
No, 8.5.
Either way.
Naturally, I think I'm more beautiful.
So
but
you're
I'm within the 8 line.
Yeah, of course.
Then why did you wear the wig?
Because it is very human here, and if you're a girl, hair that's attached to your head poofs up, and hair that is on a wig and is dead stays.
But wouldn't you be more naturally beautiful that way?
Hold on. Let's just get through the segment. Go ahead.
So we're just talking like
1 to 10.
We wake up in the morning and what do we think we are?
Your
With
looks.
nothing?
Like in
Can't say
general.
7.
8? I don't know.
Okay.
9. 7.
8.
6.
8.
8.
Give myself a 5.
Why?
Andrew. What about you, Andrew?
Well, I mean, if the comparison here is all these 8s, then I'm going to give myself an 11.
I like it.
Just like that, the tone shifts from playful to ruthless. The host doesn't just disagree, he completely rejects their self-ratings. Calling everyone out, saying there's not even a single 8 in the room, that's a direct hit to confidence. But here's what's really happening. He's introducing an objective standard into a conversation that was purely subjective. Up until now, everyone was rating themselves based on how they feel. Now, they're being judged based on comparison. And that's uncomfortable. So ask yourself, when you rate yourself, are you being honest or just protecting your self-image?
I like it. I like your stuff.
There you go.
The most
I like
unbelievably
the
delusional shit that I've ever heard. First of all,
what is
there's
the
not even a
rating thing?
woman here who's an 8. I'm just going to be honest with you. Not even one who's an 8.
Oh, sorry, Maddie.
Not a 1. And the thing is a lot of you are likable. Maybe, perhaps not the blonde, but many of you are very likable people. But how delusional can you be? You're not 8s. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We just
I have
saw a
this
video, for
conversation.
instance.
Wait, what?
We
What did
just
you
saw a
say?
video of the chatty Cathy here.
I said I was a 7. I never
she
said
didn't
I was
even
an
look
8.
in that video. She didn't even look nearly like what she looks like in studio right now. I mean, you guys could all see it. In what world do you live in where you think you're 8s?
We got
What
good
world
lighting.
is
Can I-
this?
can
We
I
got
say
good
something?
lighting.
I never...
Okay.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have this conversation with my friends all the time. To some people, I'm a 8. To some people, I'm a 3. Like, it is what it is. Like, but personally, I'm going to lean more towards the 10 side because
Oh.
I want I'm saying 8 because
Lean
if I'm
more
if I'm a
towards
3,
10.
then where's my confidence at how I'm going to walk into a room?
All
How
right,
am I going to
let me
conduct
ask
my
this question in a
conversations?
different way.
Okay.
Let me ask it a different way.
This is where things get interesting, because now we're bringing in a benchmark, Scarlett Johansson in her prime. And watch what happens. Suddenly, the scale changes. People who were confidently saying 8 just seconds ago are now forced to reconsider. That's the power of comparison. It exposes inflation instantly. But here's the deeper layer. Everyone operates on their own internal scale. One person's 8 is another person's 5. So the real issue isn't just confidence, it's inconsistency. Without a shared standard, ratings become meaningless. So let me ask you, should attractiveness be judged individually, or should there be a universal scale?
A different way. in my opinion, Scarlett Johansson in her prime is an 8.
No, she a 10.
Oh, okay.
If we go around the table
she a
again
10.
from Scarlett Johansson in her prime as being an 8, do any of your answers change?
Yeah, and that's I mean, we all have different scales. I think that's what happens
a
too.
10.
I'm not thinking of Scarlett
She's a 10
Johansson.
now,
I'm thinking
she's
about
a
Yeah, so what
here.
would you be if Scarlett Johansson in her prime is an 8? What are you?
A solid 3.
A solid 3.
A solid 3. So why?
But
is
here
Scarlett
in this
Johansson-
room, if we're gonna do this here,
What
I
is
would say
Scarlett
8.
Johansson?
I mean, this is an example of toxic masculinity. Why are we
Why?
comparing?
Yeah,
it doesn't
Andrew.
make
No,
sense.
It's being in touch with reality.
I don't understand.
Toxic
In what
femininity,
way?
where you
It's just
pretend that
reality.
there's no
Like, some people-
objective standard for things which are clearly objective and you're competing for.
Well,
if you
I-
weren't
it's
competing for
reality.
it, then why is it that you would answer to the scale in the first place?
Well,
I still
you just
think I'm
asked
an
us.
eight.
I
I'm
think
not
we were
gonna
just
lie.
trying to comply.
What's your favorite color?
No, yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
you were trying to comply with what you consider a male standard for beauty. Fair enough.
True.
I'll even
For my
concede
own
that it could be a
standard.
male standard of
But I
beauty.
think we all
so if
answered
it's a
of what
male
we
standard
thought
of
of
beauty and
ourselves,
Scarlett
right? We weren't
Johansson's an
answering
8,
it for
can you
what-
tell me what that makes you?
Well, I'm going based off of what my boyfriend tells me. He be gassing me
Not
up.
you.
So he
not
could be
you, to the blonde
lying,
this
but you know
time.
what? I'm gonna go based off that.
To the blonde.
What was your
out.
question?
If Scarlett Johansson was an 8 in her prime, what are you?
I'd say I'm an 8 too.
Yeah. So you look like just Scarlett Johansson in her prime.
Now,
think
this moment right here, this is peak cognitive dissonance. She's claiming she's on the same level as Scarlett Johansson in her prime, but justifying it by saying different men have different tastes. And yes, that's true, to a point. But the host is pushing a different argument. Majority preference. Not exceptions, averages. And that's where the logic starts to break. Because if most people would choose one over the other, then they're not equal on a broad scale. This exposes a key defense mechanism, using subjectivity to avoid uncomfortable comparisons. So, what do you think? Does personal preference override general reality?
I think I'm a very beautiful woman. I think she's a very beautiful woman. I don't see that there's a discrepancy there. We all have our moments of rolling out of bed, and we all have a glam up look.
So I just want to make sure that if we were to put you and Scarlett Johansson in her prime in front of every man inside of the world, that you think that they would consider you and Scarlett Johansson on par with each other.
I do, because different men have different
do.
flavors. So maybe half of them would like her better, and half
I can
of
see
them
that
would like
too,
me
but
better.
the reality is if we have two
I own a
flowers,
foot fetish place, and some of them don't look at my boobs whatsoever. Their eyes go straight down to my feet.
okay, that's true. But if we're looking at two flowers and one flower has like dents in it, it has like leaves removed, it's still beautiful, it's a flower. But if you're looking at a rose that is just like in its prime, we're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna choose this one to give to my mom, because in reality
No, hey, you know what? You're totally right. Me and Hugo Jackson in his prime, we're exactly the same. We look exactly. You know what? If he's a 10 as a man, I'm also a 10 as a man. Then I guess we'll just do it that way. I'll be as delusional as you guys are.
I don't think I'm delusional in any sense.
Best-looking men on planet Earth. I'm on par with him because I really feel like I should be.
All right, hold on. So is your wife? What is your wife on a scale of 1 to 10?
What is your husband on a scale of 1 to 10?
I don't have a husband.
Hey, what is your
Yeah,
boyfriend?
but I'm pretty sure you think that your wife is the most
He's
beautiful
a
woman
10
in the world.
He's a 10.
No.
He's actually.
I still have a listen.
Wait, hold
you
on.
think
You
that I
answer
can't
me.
be
Hold on.
objective
Answer
about
me
beauty
first.
standards? So, like for instance, let us assume for a second that we were to rewind for, 20 years, and I were to go 20 years ago when my wife was in her 20s instead, and you were to say, "Can I have the same woman just in the 20-year-old body versus the 40-some-year-old body?" I would say, sure. What would actually be problematic with that?
No, okay, I'm just glad you said that. Okay, then
No,
we can
no,
call that.
no. Answer my question.
No.
What would be problematic with that?
I would say it's not problematic, but it would
Right.
probably hurt your wife's feelings,
No,
but it's
not only would
reality.
it not hurt her feelings, but why do you think she keeps her ass in shape? She keeps her ass in shape
100%.
because she wants to look the best that she possibly can
Right,
for her
but
age,
she's
right?
going to age regardless, though,
She
because
wants to maintain her relationship. She wants to
hold
look-
on.
be a good
go ahead.
mom, a good wife, a good partner.
Yes.
Like, that's why she gets...
So, so you're saying that age is going to change the number that you give your wife? And that's okay if it does. I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Well, of course. I think that beauty standards are at least reasonably objective.
Yeah, okay,
And
I agree with you.
Here's where the conversation shifts from surface level to deeper truth. The host starts separating emotional perception from objective reality. He even brings his own wife into the example, showing that love and attraction don't cancel out standards. That's a powerful distinction. You can value someone deeply and still recognize that, objectively, they're not at the top of the global beauty scale. And that's where many people struggle, because they confuse personal bias with universal ranking. So the real question is, can you be honest about reality without it affecting how you feel about someone?
Okay, and I think that my wife would be the first one to tell you that she knows that that's true. And so the thing is that while it may be true that she thinks I'm better looking than she is, or I think she's better looking than I am, it doesn't mean that I think that she's the same or equal in beauty standards to Scarlett Johansson in her prime.
Yeah,
I'm not delusional.
Yeah, but
so what would you give her? What would you rate her?
If we're doing comparisons, that's a completely different conversation. Wait, hold on one second. Hold on. Well, if we're doing comparisons with other female celebrities like Angelina Jolie, that's different. I honestly think that I am an 8. I'm not ugly. My body's tight. I work out.
Based on what?
What do you mean? Based on my body and everything.
Like the average woman in America, compared to the average woman.
I think I am an 8. I'm not being delusional.
I think you're a 10. I think you're a 10. I think we all understand.
I understand the assertion.
I don't think I'm hideous.
I'm just going to ask you, what are the things that make you an 8?
I think that because I don't have fake lips, the only thing that's fake on me is my nails, but my makeup looks nice. I look nice when I'm natural.
Your lashes.
My lashes. Mm-hmm. I work out a lot, so I keep my body nice and fit. I'm health conscious.
Your hair is beautiful. Your skin's
you know what?
Beautiful.
That's totally fair. So now let me ask you this, since you're going off of kind of this objective standard. I think that you're trying to move towards something which is objective. Is there any woman in this room who's prettier than you?
You want my honest opinion?
Yeah.
No.
And now let me ask back to the blonde. Is she prettier than you?
I do believe she has more of an exotic beauty that I think.
Then why aren't you a 9?
Got him.
Wait, why am I not a 9? What?
But she's an 8.
She's prettier than you. She rated herself an 8. How come you're not a 9?
I said she's prettier than me.
I know. She rated herself an 8. You rated yourself an 8.
Well,
How come you're not a 9?
I went first. Why am I not a 9?
Or she's not a 9. How come she's not a 9 and you're an 8?
But I thought it was just our own personal, how we think
Yeah,
of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little messy. You can't really. I see what you're doing, but it doesn't really work.
If you compare me to Megan Good, obviously Megan Good
No,
better
no,
than
it does. It does really work. And let me explain
No, because
how.
she went first.
I went first, so I wasn't comparing
She
to
thinks
her.
she's the prettiest woman in the room.
Was it 1
And
to
yet
10?
all of you rate yourself the same way that she rates herself.
So yeah, she should have.
Now the contradiction gets fully exposed. One woman claims she's the prettiest in the room, but everyone else is still rating themselves the same as her. That doesn't add up. If someone is clearly above the rest, even slightly, then the ratings should reflect that. But they don't. Why? Because this isn't about accuracy anymore. It's about social comfort. Nobody wants to rank themselves lower or offend someone else. This is classic group dynamics, where honesty gets sacrificed to maintain harmony. So let me ask you, would you give your real rating in a room like this, or play it safe?
So yeah, she should have gone higher.
Aren't all of you essentially saying that you believe that you're on par with her?
No,
we weren't comparing each other to each other. We were just looking at I was looking at it myself compared to the average woman in America. That's honestly what I did. The average woman.
I think we all had different scales. That's the problem.
Myself compared to myself.
Okay, sis.
Exactly.
The person I was yesterday.
Would I date myself or would I not?
I would not date myself because I'm not lesbian.
I'm doing.
I've never
I don't even care about the average.
in real life. And
Okay, so now let's try just a quick social experiment. Hang on, let's just try a quick social experiment. We know that this gal, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, in the yellow top.
Kishwan.
What's that?
Kishwan.
Okay, so since I'm just going to call you Kay because that's a really long name. So since Kay says she's the prettiest girl in the room, will anybody raise their hand and say they're prettier than Kay? You're prettier than Kay. And you're prettier than Kay.
No.
Okay. So is Kay delusional?
Am I?
I feel like I'm equal.
Am I equal? Yeah. And can I say that I'm a 10 or 11 or 12 or 100?
And
Yeah.
there's
what
such
makes you
different
prettier than
looks
Kay?
here.
But that
I mean,
doesn't
we
mean
never
that
get
we
to
can
look
compare.
at all the same.
Why are we compared?
But the
You
thing
can't
is,
compare.
Why are we compared?
we
We're
can
not
have one
compared
man
to each other.
stand in the room and think that she's prettier, but then we have another man can be like, no, I'm prettier. I mean,
not
it's just
It's
it
a
is
matter of
the
taste.
guys who like
It's a matter of taste.
Exactly.
taste.
Or
Hang on. We got it. Let's try this one at a time. So the two gals raise their hand first in the center, right? The Pentecostal. What makes you prettier? What makes you prettier than Kay?
I feel like I'm a prettier Latina vibe, but that's just, I don't know. I'm going based
What
off
are the
my
things,
standard of beauty.
objectively, what are the things that you think make you prettier than Kay? Like, honestly.
I don't mind.
Okay,
Say
no,
whatever.
I mean, I'm going
myself to
based
another
off what
man,
I like
I'd
about
say-
myself.
I'd
Okay, I like
say
my
maybe,
hair.
His
My
hair's
hair.
natural.
that dude has he maybe has a more muscular body, or maybe he has better facial features, or maybe he has this or that, because I'm not delusional, right? So what are the things objectively that make you prettier than Kay?
Well, I personally like my hair, my smile. I would say my boobs, but no, that's kind of like superficial. Actually, you have a nice smile too, sis. I don't know. We're both bomb. I think we're just beautiful.
Here's kind of the distinction, right? Is like,
Wait, what?
what is there to even be offended about? If you objectively believe that there's a standard that most men would adhere to, not every man, just most, then what are those objective things that make you prettier than Kay?
You can say whatever. I don't care.
No, I know. I think, okay, so if we're talking about like biologically, isn't like the whole symmetrical thing like a thing, like with the face?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay,
that
so,
would
I
be a
mean,
good
let's-
objective like starting point.
I mean, she
right?
does have it too, though. I feel like we just both got it going on. I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah, how about you tell us?
Well,
Since you're the
raised your
man.
hand.
Bigger
that-
boobs.
Hang on. You raised your hand and said that
Okay,
you
I
thought
told you my
objectively.
hair. I have like the smile Latina vibe. I like my nails. I mean, she is more fit than me, but I don't know. I just think that it's also a part of it that I have to. I naturally want to, I guess, be delusional and tell myself I am prettier, and not in like a degrading way, but it's just how way I carry myself. I want to be confident. I am confident, so I just walk in to the room.
He seems
like-
pretty confident.
Yeah, I mean, again, but at the end of the day, we can
I
have.
mean, she was so confident. She said she was prettier than all of you.
and that
I mean,
may
that's
be
pretty confident,
This
right?
is like the only thing where I'm like, this is kind of like the only thing where I'm like, there might be like some my truth, because at the end of the day, there's gonna be two men that will think differently. Like, there's gonna be someone that really thinks she's.
No. But remember the heart of this. We're just asking this. If you had most men, I'm not saying that if you didn't have two men, they wouldn't objectively maybe have a different standard. I would agree. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm asking if you took most men, so we're just looking for, let's say we took 51% of all men and we were able to pull them and we put the two of you side by side, right? And just most of them thought that you were prettier. What would those reasons be?
I just told you. Like, I guess my hair, my smile.
Your hair?
I guess my eyes. I don't know. I'm just thinking of things
Your
that my
skin
boyfriend
is really
has
beautiful.
told me,
Oh,
or
your
like
skin.
compliments
Body.
me. Thank you.
Your
Yes.
overall figure, you know, your
Okay, my overall
And then
figure. Yeah, I mean, there's just
So then
different.
back to Kay. So then hang on, back
Yes.
to Kay. What makes you prettier?
Finally, this is the moment where things get real. When pushed to give specific reasons, the answers shift from vague confidence to actual traits, fitness, facial features, body proportions. Notice the difference? Earlier, it was all I feel like and my confidence, but now it's turning into measurable qualities. That's the shift from subjective to objective thinking. And interestingly, once people are forced to explain themselves, they actually reveal they do understand the hierarchy. They just don't openly admit it at first. Which raises a key point. Are people really delusional or just socially filtered?
I'm physically fit. That's literally. Oh, and my lips are big, but they're natural. Like, I have
See,
pretty
now
eyes.
that's like, I think that those are some good responses, right? Here are the actual things that I think that make me objectively, where most men would look at the two of us and think I'm prettier. That seems reasonable. I'm super fit. I have better lips. I have this. So, like, that seems reasonable to me. I think that that's how men would make the judgment across the board. So then back to you.
Wait, you're saying that what I said wasn't reasonable? Just I'm getting it right.
Yeah, because you were saying things like, you were kind of adding these other values like confidence, things like that.
No, I'm saying
purely
that
on beauty here.
I'm not. I didn't say that my confidence is what makes me prettier. What I'm saying is I'm naturally thinking I am prettier because it helps with my confidence wherever I go, whenever.
Yeah, I get it. But what would the objective standard for why you think most of those men
my
would think
long
you were prettier?
hair, my smile, my eyes, and my nails, my fashion. I don't know. I could go on, but again, I could still look at her and be like, dude, she's just as bomb. But in my head, I gotta.
Listen. I'm not saying you couldn't look at her and say she's a knockout or whatever. That's not really what the question is implying.
Yeah.
So then over to Red. Red, can I ask you, what are these things that if you took the large swath of men and they had you and they had Kay in the same room and they were just asked the question to objectively evaluate the beauty standard of which they prefer, what are the things about you they think they would prefer over Kay?
Well, it would depend on their beauty standards, first of all.
Yeah, I know. We're just saying that most of them somehow prefer you over Kay. What would those things be?
I think that I look good as a blonde. I look good as a brunette. I can change like an iguana. I'm wearing blue eyes today. I look good in brown eyes. I look good in blue eyes. I can change my clothes and wear a trash bag, and I look good in that. And I can wear red.
Okay, hang on. Let me back up. So we have a room with 500 men, and 400 of them, and 400 of those men, when they look at you next to Kay, they go, I prefer her. They don't care about your personality because they don't know anything. They know nothing about you. They're only judging physically. Hang on. What are the things about you physically that they prefer?
My breasts are natural, double D's. I have a thin waist, a pretty little belly button ring. I have nice lips and big brown eyes. And I'm Sicilian. Aww. And I have a little butt that I work hard on at the gym for, but I don't look like her, but I try as hard as I can.
I love you.
This is why.
I love her.
This is why we consider the question when most of the people answer it, most of the gals answer it to be cope, right? When they all rate themselves the same. Because when I get to the heart of it, I realize, wait a second, they don't really fucking rate themselves the same. What happens is they have kind of groupthink where you don't want to offend the girl next to you. That's true. Hang on, let me finish. But objectively, when I start actually parsing it out and I go, but if men did prefer you, why would it be? Versus why they prefer you and are you the prettiest girl in the room? I hear wildly different answers, which tells me you're not really delusional. You do know what your standard appeal is, but you're fucking lying about it because you don't want to make anybody uncomfortable.
By the end of this debate, the real takeaway isn't just about looks, it's about honesty. On one side, you have people rating themselves based on confidence, validation, and personal perception. On the other side, there's a push for objective standards, things like symmetry, fitness, and general appeal. And when those two collide, you get tension, contradictions, and uncomfortable truths. The biggest lesson? Most people actually know where they stand. They just don't say it out loud. Because in social settings, honesty can feel risky. If you found this debate as intense as we did, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, who was right here, and don't forget to subscribe for more high-level breakdowns like this.
Because everybody has a different standard. When one guy can walk in the room and say, I'm hideous. It's like you could love peaches, but there's always going to be one guy that doesn't like peaches.
I agree. Yeah, so hang on, I agree. But let's assume for a second that we drug a meth head in who had no teeth, pockmarks all over her face, and a hunchback. Do you think you're prettier than her objectively?
I'm 100,010% better.
Yeah, 100,010%. So there has to be some objective. Hang on. So there has to be some objective standard between meth head, crackhead, hump on her back, pockmarks on her face, and you. And what we're looking for is what those things are between you and all of the other women comparing herself to no teeth, hunchback, pockmarked fucking crackhead, right? That's
All
the
these
point of the
women
question.
And you're
This
looking
room
for
are
biological
beautiful.
health markers and good
And
genetics. That's what you're looking
Sure,
for.
I don't even
So it's
disagree. You could say
symmetry, it's
biological
facial
health
symmetry,
markers.
it's clarity in the eyes, it's clear skin. It's for a woman, it's a particular waist to hip ratio, which is 0.0.
And I think there's always
Point
room-
seven.
So if you're
Big
looking at
labia.
all those
So
things
it's
objectively, then why do you all have similar answers, even though you look nothing the
because
fuck alike?
there's always room to improve.
All right.
There's only so
It
many
just
body
seems
parts.
it just seems delusional to me. Just
Well,
saying.
you
Is
didn't
anyone
ask.
ever perfect?
And I think because we are looking at it from the relational perspective, not like we're walking across the stage and just getting a number rating. We're thinking to ourselves, the men that are in our lives that are coming and speaking to us.
That's
For
what I'm
example,
thinking
I
about.
hear all day, every day, you're a 10, you're a 12. How do I get with you?
Yeah,
Blah, blah,
they
blah.
want to sleep with you.
Yeah, they want to have
exactly.
sex with you. What do you
Exactly.
mean?
They want to have
Now,
sex
a woman
with me.
will tell, or a man will tell Kay, I think you're the most beautiful woman in the same sentence as saying you are, even if he has an objectively
is
different
true.
opinion
Right,
because he wants
right,
to fuck
exactly,
you both.
exactly.
Like,
Which
let's
is-
not. I mean, she knows. Look at her. She's like, yeah. I mean, that's just true, right?
It is true. It is
I
true.
would.
It is true. And so that's the thing of why we can't really even go off of that stuff. We just have to go off of.
Well, it seems like when I press you guys,
What do you think you are?
Suddenly
What are
your
you?
standards drastically change, and you're like, I do objectively have these metrics. I do objectively know what's true. I do objectively think I'm more fit.
It's just 'cause
I have
there's more
bigger
to
boobs,
it. There's
I
more
have
to the
bigger
story.
brown eyes. I have these other attractive qualities I think men would like. But when asked in a general average, you guys go, well, we're all about the same. When clearly you all know that you're not. And that's
some
why
people
we
don't
think on
like
our
peaches.
end, that's why we
I
think
just
on
don't
our
think
end,
we like to be
delusional.
competitive with
it's
each
ugly.
other.
Yeah, it's just
Wait,
ugly
so what are
to,
you?
to be doing that.
It's weird.
I'm a
You heard
4.
what he said.